Hey, welcome back to the channel. This video comes from the wonderful world of TikTok, of course, and the user goes by the name of Pink Pill 17 to play on the words for, red pill, blue pill. But what she has to say kind of intrigued me because you think about, the stuff about the whole black fatigue, how we're modern day victims. We victimize ourselves to thinking that, what's actually happening isn't happening. So, thinking about from my ancestors' perspective, let's see what she has to say.
As a fellow member and victim of Black fatigue, I want to raise my right hand in solidarity to all the other Black people who have stood up and said that they too are tired of all the foolishness. Some of us have been here for a long time. Some of us have tried to say things and been shot down, called horrible names by people.
Like coon, bed wench, Uncle Tom, bootlicker. The usual names black people call each other, for reasons just because we don't want to accept the hood culture.
People who look just like us. And then we have a certain party who also reinforces this behavior that allows for one group to denigrate the other with no consequences. How long did you think that you were going to be able to call people names and then people were not going to start calling them back?
Mm-hmm.
And how narcissistic is it that you feel entitled to call people names, but then when they're called to you, you want to cry victim?
Think about it. All of the videos you go on TikTok, YouTube, where police officer, security, whatever, pulls a black person over, someone brown, they don't like the way that they're handling. So that black person calls the police officer. It could be white, black, whatever race. They call them the N word. I'm like, so black people again, like I say, we're our worst enemies. We always victimize ourselves and cry foul. So yeah, keep that in mind.
I am tired of a community or certain people in the community who absolutely refuse to call out any bad behavior that they see. Egregious things that are obviously wrong that we simply will not admit to because racism. And when we are called to account on anything, all we do is blame racism, slavery, systemic, whatever.
Blame racism, slavery. Granted, there is racism in the world. There is racism in America. However, everything that happens isn't racism. It could just be that you're just a bad person and you're looking for a scapegoat. Slavery ended like 500 years ago. So we can't keep living in that mindset, that mentality. You gotta let it go. You gotta move forward. Think about your ancestors. Think about your grandmother, grandfather. Those who actually went through Jim Crow. If they're still with us, talk to them. Ask them what it's like. Have them compare to what you're going through right now to what they went through. The dogs, the fire hoses, the constant beat downs. They probably know somebody who got lynched. Or if they don't, then, your great great grandfather, mother do. We got to get out of that mentality.
And people are sick of y'all. I'm sick of you.
I'm sick of you too.
And I gotta be honest, I'm really glad that the conversations are being had and that Black people like me, the coons, the Uncle Toms, the bedwenches, who just want to be in their garden and mind their own business.
Or in my case, in my place of peace, in front of my PC, computer, do whatever I want, be outside. We just want our place of peace. We don't want to have to be bothered by people from our own culture drawing attention, unneeded attention to us because they want to act ratchet, hood, playing loud music. It's fine and dandy playing loud music, but time and place.
And then they have to scroll on social media or go to Walmart and see people who look like us acting
Mm,
a complete fool.
mm.
You guys are a disgrace to.
Like back in Texas, I quit going to Walmart after a certain time because anything past 5 p.m. That's when the hoods, the hood culture starts to take hold. I go in the morning, go in the evening, afternoon, never go past, when it start getting dark outside. Okay, nothing good happening there.
to the people who actually went through all of the horrible things that you think you're going through right now? Do you think that your grandmothers and great grandparents suffered and endured oppression that you could never understand would want to see you behave in this way after they did that hard work? Some of us have been alive long enough to know what our grandparents wanted. They wanted us to have dignity.
Exactly.
They wanted us to build ourselves up. They didn't want us to be perpetual victims. They didn't want us to make excuses for bad behavior. You know it and I know it. And if anybody wants to speak up on what their grandparents said, I would love to hear it because it seems to have been forgotten. You know damn well this is not what they wanted. You know damn well that this is not what they fought for.
Facts. 'Cause I think about, my grandparents, they're no longer with us, but my grandparents, my great grandparents, back when I was a kid, I remember talking to them. Times were different. You could hear the knowledge, the wisdom, the experience in their voices when they talk to you about certain things that they went through. And then, me now, I don't go through none of that. We're the freest country in the world, and yet we as a people, as a community, want to hold ourselves back. But we want to call it and blame it everybody else other than our own actions.
Those of us who have black fatigue, we remember what our forefathers fought for. We remember why they shed their blood in the streets, not to stay mad, not to be perpetual victims, but to pick ourselves up and have the opportunity that you have that they never had. Do you know how grateful they would be if they could live in the world that you live in right now?
Boy, that work ethic from back then, because they was working hard for pennies, 25, 35, 45 cents back in those days. I'm talking about 50s and 60s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. Think about, with the amount of money that people get paid now, they'd be running it up. If they were your age right now, if my great grandparents were my age right now, they'd be out there getting it. They'd running it up with no fear of racism. All the freedoms that I got right now. Think about it. Your grandparents would be running it up. Your great grandparents would be running it up. But no, we want to complain about, we don't want this job because they don't pay too much. We don't want this job because they make me shave. We don't want this job because they make me tuck my clothes in, pull back my hair. It's racism to do this and do that. Your grandparents lived through way worse, and yet we're the ones who wants to be more victimized than they are.
And what would they say? What would they do? I'm sure that ungrateful would be in there somewhere. Ashamed would be somewhere in there. We have really dropped the ball on this, but I'm glad that we're picking it back up. And you know what else we need to start picking up? A mirror. Start looking at it. A lot.
Video cut out, but damn, look at your own reflection in the mirror. Do you like what you see? Are you living it in that bad of a time where you can't go out and do whatever you want? People want to talk about, we can't do education because it's racism, because they won't let us get an education. Back in the day, 30s, 40s, 50s, where they weren't actually allowed to get an education, we can do anything we want. There's no sections where we can go to the store where it says whites only, blacks only. We could all go to the same store, same restroom, same movie theater, same grocery store, same mall. We could all be in the same place together. No issues. They didn't have that luxury back then. But we want to cry victim because someone, calls us name, and we feel like we're all have this entitlement that we can do what we want, say what we want, whenever we want. But as soon as somebody tells us no, racism, I'm a victim. You know what I'm talking about. You know people who do that. But that's my comments. That's my thoughts about it. Let me know. Comment section down below. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Do you like the video? Do you agree with what she said? How did I do? Give me a thumbs up, and I'll catch you next video. Peace.